In the Sun, Chapter 8. The Plague. A plague struck Thebes. Thousands died. At first there was hope the great house would escape the ravages of the disease, but it crept inside the palace walls. Merneptah lay soaked in sweat. His body ached. One moment he was burning with fever, the next he shook so hard Ramses threw his body across his son's to give him warmth and keep him from falling to the floor. The room overflowed with physicians. Some chanted, others prepared medicines. So many were pounding their pestles. The chamber sounded more like a construction site than a sick room. Merneptah pressed his temples with his fingertips. "Father, make them stop the pounding. My head hurts." Ramses raged. "You fools! Take your thumping outside!" He flung a bowl into the corridor, kicking the physician out behind it. "Can no one find me a physician who knows his business? I don't care if you must travel to the land of Punt. Find me a man who can cure my son." Neferonpet ordered runners to search the kingdom for yet another physician. He wondered if there were any left. "It is time for the offering, my lord." Ramses was reluctant to leave his son's bedside, but it would not be wise to anger the gods now. He pulled the ankh that hung around his neck over his head and rested the life sign on his son's heart. "I must wear the leopard skin now, my son. I'll be back as soon as I can." "Pray for me, father." "I do nothing but." Nefertari entered the room. The physician stopped chanting mid-word. Ramses' first wife was as beautiful as the stories told. She gently stroked her husband's cheek. "You must eat and get some rest. Even the great one must. I will sit with Merneptah." Nefertari was worried about Ramses' health. All day and night he sat with his son from his second wife, not eating or sleeping. Nefertari sat beside Merneptah's sleeping pallet. She arranged the layers of her sheath. "You are looking stronger today. There is rose in your cheek." Merneptah's cheeks were so colorless they looked translucent, but Nefertari wanted to cheer him. She smiled gently, unaware of the physicians who were hypnotized by her graceful movements. Merneptah coughed in spasms that racked his body. Nefertari pulled a scarf across her face, staring at the pox oozing on Merneptah's arms and chest. She wanted to reach out to him, but she was afraid. She stroked her own smooth skin, shuddering at the thought of the pox spreading over her, eating her flesh. She would have a slave massage balm into her skin when she returned to her chamber. She pushed her chair back a bit. "Is there some entertainment you wish? I could call forth the dancers." Merneptah weakly shook his head. It was all he could manage. It struck Nefertari that Merneptah might die. The thought of one of her own children on the throne flickered. She felt ashamed. Flustered, she rose to leave, then remembered her promise to Pharaoh and sat again. "Mother," Merneptah whispered. Nefertari turned. Isnefret was coming in. The two wives nodded to each other. Then Nefertari quickly left the sick room in a cloud of fabric. Isnefret pulled a chair close to Merneptah's bedside, gathering him in her arms. "How are you feeling today, my son?" "I'm scared, mother." Isnefret stroked Merneptah's forehead. "What scares you? What if I should die?" She paused for just a second in her stroking to fight back her own tears. Her heart ached, but she spoke lightly. "To die is not a thing to fear. To drink from the waters of paradise on the journey to the afterlife is a gift from the gods. It is the natural order of things. Even Pharaoh must move on someday. Your Ka will go first and prepare for your arrival." "But what if the devourer should find my sins too heavy?" "You are the son of the great God. The feather of truth will balance." Isnefret spoke with conviction. But then, even though she tried for Merneptah's sake to remain strong, a note of pleading crept into her voice. "But you must try to get well." Merneptah lay back on his headrest. After his father's rage and Nefertari's fear, his mother's soft voice comforted him. Isnefret watched her son relax. She swallowed and began again. "When you are Pharaoh, you will commission the royal architect to build a tomb that brings glory to your name. It will be filled with the toys of your youth and the tools of your manhood. There will be thousands of servants to see to your every need. It will be even more beautiful than the desert at sunset, your place in the sun." Isnofret spoke in a hushed voice, her words softening into silence. Merneptah had fallen asleep.